Story 1. Luke, it was just a normal school day. That is, until the loudspeaker crackled to life. Immediately, go to the nearest room and lock and barricade the door. Stay low and stay quiet. Panic swept through the halls like wildfire. I went to a high school that wasn't what you'd call typical. It was small, rural, nestled in a quiet town where excitement came in the form of Friday night football games and kids riding their bikes around until the sun dipped below the trees. We didn't have hundreds upon hundreds of students. Our graduating class barely broke 200. It was the kind of school where you knew everyone's name, even if you didn't like them. There weren't really bullies in the cliché movie sense, no swirlies, no locker stuffing. Sure, there were jokes and teasing, but nothing you'd call serious torment. But then there was Luke. I'll call him that for this story. Luke was different, not creepy, not weird, just quiet, painfully quiet. He never spoke unless spoken to, and even then, it was barely above a whisper. I shared a computer class with him, back when those rooms were filled with clunky box monitors and humming towers. Our classroom had rows and rows of ancient desktops lined up like forgotten relics. Luke always sat alone, second row, far left, right next to the wall. No one wanted to sit by him, not out of fear, just because he was invisible to most, but not to the seniors. They noticed him, and they started picking. It began with snide jokes about his silence. Bet he's a serial killer. He's gonna snap one day. It was the kind of cruel laughter that echoed too loud in a quiet room. One day, I watched a crumpled piece of paper fly across the room and bounce off the back of Luke's head. He turned slowly. His face, God, I still see it sometimes. That look, part defeated, part furious, all broken. One of the seniors laughed and pointed fingers. Wasn't me, he said. Luke just turned back around and said nothing. I didn't say anything either, and I should have. Weeks passed. Then one day after school, I saw him sitting on the curb, knees tucked, staring at the ground like it might swallow him whole. I had just started driving. I had my keys, my car, my freedom. But something made me stop. Need a ride? I asked. His face lit up, like I'd handed him a life raft. On the drive to his house, a quiet 10 minutes away, he opened up a little, said the seniors weren't the only ones. He was tired of people treating him like a joke, like a ghost. I told him to ignore them, told him they were losers. That ride was the only time I ever really saw Luke. He wasn't a freak, he was just lonely. We started saying hi in the halls after that. Nothing big, just nods and half smiles. But then, one day, he didn't show up to class. Fourth period came and went. No Luke. Seventh period. English. That's when it happened. The intercom crackled. Lock down. This is not a drill. Desks scraped. Our teacher turned pale and slammed the lights off. We huddled in the corner. The room was silent, except for the heavy breaths and quiet prayers. 20 minutes. 30. Then the principal's voice again. A man in a mask with a black duffel bag had been spotted trying to enter the school. The doors had been locked in time. Police were on their way. They cut the school day short after that. It was a Friday. I went home with a few friends, trying to shake off the fear with video games and jokes. That night, I woke up to a tapping sound. My window. There was a face on the other side. My heart leapt into my throat. I approached, barely able to breathe. Who is it? I whispered. It's me. Luke. I cracked the window. Luke, what the hell? How did you find me? I tried to do something bad, he said, and everything clicked. The mask, the bag, the silence in class. It was you, I said. The lockdown? Yes. He didn't cry. He didn't even look ashamed. Just empty. I asked how he found my house. He said he remembered me talking about a deli near my place and recognized my car in the area. "Can I come in?" he asked. "No." I shook my head. I can't hear what you were planning. You need to go to the police." He didn't move. So I said, loud enough for my parents to hear, "Dad?" Luke bolted. My parents called the cops. I told them everything, that he came to my window, that he admitted it. The police were already investigating. By the next day, they had him. He confessed. They said he was charged with making terroristic threats. I don't know where Luke is now. I heard he served time. He's probably out. Sometimes I wonder if he ever really meant to go through with it, or if he just wanted someone, anyone, to stop him, to notice. And maybe for a moment, I did. But not enough. Story 2. The Clown. Outside our school, it was 2016. I was in 5th grade, the year of the killer clown craze. It was all over the news. Videos of creepy clowns lurking outside neighborhoods, peeking through windows, even chasing people in the streets. Most adults thought it was just dumb internet nonsense. But to us kids, it was nightmare fuel. That day started like any other. A boring math assignment, some whispering, pencils scratching against paper. Then, suddenly, "There's a clown outside." A girl blurted it out, her voice sharp and high-pitched. We rushed to the window, and there he was, a clown, dirty red and yellow suit, white face paint, blackened eyes, that smile, huge, fake, terrifying. He waved, slowly, deliberately. Some kids laughed, others screamed. Our teacher, Mrs. Riker, marched to the window and shouted, "Classes are in session, you need to leave." He didn't move, just kept smiling, waving. She called the office, then yanked the blinds shut. A few moments later, the intercom buzzed. "Staff, please begin lockdown formation." That was when things got real. The lights went off. The door was locked. We crouched under our desks. Some kids giggled nervously, others cried. We sat there for half an hour, frozen, waiting. Finally, the all clear came. The clown was gone. No answers were given. Classes resumed like nothing had happened, but everyone was talking about it. After school, I walked home with my friend Chris. We lived just a few blocks away. Suddenly, 2 girls sprinted past us, pale and out of breath. "There's someone in the woods," one of them yelled. We turned. Beyond the school, a small patch of trees lined the edge of the property, and there, half hidden in the shadows, was the clown. Same suit, same face, same slow wave. This time, he was waving directly at the girls. Chris and I ran. Didn't look back. We told our parents. The police were called again. They patrolled, but they never found him. To this day, no one knows who he was or what he wanted. But what chills me the most is that he came back after the lockdown, and he watched us from the woods. Story 3. The man who escaped prison for his daughter. This happened in 2020, just as the world was shutting down. I live near the outskirts of Philadelphia. It's just me, my son, and my stepdaughter, who I've legally adopted. She's not mine, by blood. She's the daughter of my best friend, Joanne. Joanne was murdered in 2016. Her husband, the killer, was a monster, made national news. Turns out he had 5 more victims. He's now serving 3 life sentences with no chance of parole. I'm a middle school teacher. My stepdaughter and son go to the same school. She's in the grade above what I teach. He's in the grade below. That day, March 30th, 2020, started normal. Was teaching 6th grade math when I got a strange notification. Someone had come to pick up my stepdaughter, except no one should have been. We live far out, no family nearby, no appointments. I messaged back immediately. They replied that her biological father was here. Impossible. The school wouldn't even have that information, and he was supposed to be locked up. Dead silence followed. Then the lady on the other end said she was calling the principal. I had a sinking feeling in my gut. I picked up the classroom phone and called my stepdaughter's class. Told them to send her to me. Now. 10 minutes later, she was in my room. Safe, but not for long. The lockdown alarm blared. I barricaded the doors, blocked the windows. We huddled together, my mind racing. Could it really be him? How did he get out? 2 hours later, police arrived and escorted me out. I explained everything. Why I knew the man. Why he should not have been anywhere near the school. Turns out, he escaped. A transport bus carrying inmates was rammed by a car. 10 prisoners died. 2 guards were knocked out, and 1 man got away. Him, he came back. For her, my blood runs cold thinking about how close he got, what he might have done, and how I almost lost the girl I swore to protect. Story 4. The Backyard Ritual. When curiosity leads you into the eyes of something that was never meant to see you. I live in a quiet little neighborhood, tucked into a corner of the suburbs where nothing interesting ever happens. You know the type. Lawns mowed like green carpets, identical mailboxes, the smell of barbecue on weekends. Most of the residents are retired or working from home. Peaceful, predictable, or so I thought. It was the middle of last summer, one of those scorching days where the heat makes the air ripple and you can hear the cicadas screaming from every tree. I was in my backyard, lounging in a flimsy plastic chair with a cold soda, scrolling through my phone and melting in the sun. That's when I noticed something strange. Through the wooden slats of the fence, I saw movement in my neighbor's yard. Mr. Greaves, an older man, quiet, polite, used to work at the library. He mostly kept to himself. But today was different. I leaned a little closer to the fence, squinting through the gaps. Mr. Greaves was shirtless, kneeling in the middle of his lawn, with weird chalk markings drawn all around him in a circle. At first I thought maybe he was doing some weird kind of yoga or meditation. But then I heard it. He was chanting, low and guttural. The words didn't sound English or like anything I'd ever heard before. Almost like he was whispering through a mouthful of water. I was frozen, half standing, half peeking. Then, all at once, the chanting stopped. Silence. He slowly lifted his head and turned to look at me, right into my eyes, not like he noticed me, like he knew I was watching the whole time. I panicked and ducked down behind the fence, my heart pounded in my ears. I waited for something. Footsteps, a yelling, anything, but there was nothing. Eventually, I gathered the courage to peek over the fence again. The yard was empty. No Mr. Greaves, no chalk markings, just an ordinary backyard. I tried to shake it off, told myself maybe I was dehydrated or imagining things. But that night, at around 2:13 a.m., I woke up to a sound outside, a light tapping on my bedroom window. I pulled the curtain aside, expecting maybe a tree branch swaying in the wind. Instead, Mr. Greaves was standing in my backyard, barefoot, still shirtless, just standing there, completely still. staring at my window. His lips were moving, but no sound came out. He slowly raised one arm and pointed directly at me. Then he mouthed 3 words. No sound, just the movement of his lips. You saw too much. I stumbled backward in fear, almost tripping over my nightstand. By the time I worked up the nerve to look again, he was gone. Vanished. The next morning, I found out Mr. Greaves had died during the night. A stroke, they said. Peaceful, natural causes. But when I went outside, something caught my eye beneath my bedroom window. Symbols, the same ones I'd seen in his yard the day before, etched perfectly into the dirt, still fresh and warm to the touch. Almost like he was never there to warn me. He was there to pass something on. Story 5. The one-way mirror. Some things are meant to watch, not be seen. A few years ago, I worked the night shift in a hospital, radiology department, graveyard hours. Most of the time, it was just me and the soft hum of machines. Silence is easy to ignore when you're used to it, but not in imaging room 3. Everyone hated that room. There was something about it. The air always felt colder, heavier. But the worst part? The one-way mirror. A large rectangular panel of glass installed into the far wall. From the inside, all you saw was your reflection. But the implication was that someone could see in from the other side. Only, there was no other side. No observation, room, just solid concrete behind that wall. We all joked that it was a design flaw or maybe a leftover from old construction plans. But the longer you worked nights, the less funny it became. Because every so often, you'd swear you saw movement behind that glass. Faint, shadowy, like someone was standing just on the other side, watching. And sometimes, when the machines were off and the lights were dimmed, you'd hear it. Tap, tap, tap. 3 slow, deliberate knocks from behind the glass. Always 3. No more, no less. I told myself it was pipes. Old buildings creak, after all. But deep down, I didn't believe that. One night, I had to stay late to clean up after a last-minute scan. It was just me. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. I was nearly done when I heard it. That sound. Tap, tap, tap. I froze. The tapping didn't come from the floor or the wall. It came from the mirror. I turned slowly. There, behind the glass, a silhouette, motionless. It wasn't a reflection. It was someone. Standing, watching. I stepped closer. The figure didn't move. But then, it raised a hand and waved. Slowly. Like it knew me. Like it had been waiting. I ran out of the room and didn't look back. The next day, imaging room 3 was sealed off. No warning, no explanation. Management said it was due to ventilation concerns. But everyone who worked nights, we knew better. That room wasn't closed because of airflow. It was closed because something behind that mirror had finally decided to say hello. And one day, it might come looking for a better view.